Today, I'd like to talk about neuropathy. My name is Michelle. I have breast cancer and I am sharing my journey here with everyone. So, real quick, diagnosed with cancer last year, had a lumpectomy in September, had chemotherapy that started in October that went through March, radiation. The chemotherapy was the end of February, and radiation was in March, and I have been in immunotherapy since March. So no more chemotherapy. That ended the end of February, beginning of March. One of the common side effects for chemotherapy is neuropathy, and that is having a tingling sensation, usually in your hands and your feet. And you can kind of prevent it or reduce the impact of it by having cold gloves and cold, basically, socks, footies, that are they're just filled with ice packs that you have on your hands and feet during a particular type of chemo that you're doing, and they are said to reduce the impact of neuropathy. It's basically your nerve endings, because what chemo does is it kills fast growing cells in your body. And apparently your nerves and your nerve endings are fast growing cells, so it kind of impacts those cells. At least that's my understanding of it. um, so this cold treatment is to help prevent that. I had those gloves, I had the footies, and I used them for about half of my treatment, and then at one point I just forgot them, and then I think I probably had about 3 treatments without them. I did 6 treatments altogether, and maybe 2 or 3 of them I didn't use the footies for, and the things in my hand, and I didn't really at the time feel any neuropathy, so I wasn't too worried about it. But I will tell you that what has happened over the last bunch of months, actually, since I stopped chemo, is I have had neuropathy make an appearance in multiple places. So my hands have been fine. I don't have anything in my hands, but I do have it in my feet, and I've had it consistently in my feet for months. Um, and for me, one of the main things that I feel, and this is a really weird one, is the bottoms of my feet. I almost always feel like I'm walking on sand. It's a very strange thing. If I'm in shoes, it's fine, but if I'm barefoot, I feel like I'm walking in sand. I guess when my foot hits like a hard surface, that's when I notice it. So, like I said, when I'm in shoes, I don't really feel it so much. And then I've also had, which I've talked about before, my surgery was I had surgery on both breasts, but the majority of everything, my cancer was in my right breast. I had cancer cells in my lymph node. I think it was 2 lymph nodes on my right side, and so those were removed. Um, and then I had, some minor reconstruction for both breasts to even them out, but the bulk of everything was done on the right breast. And then I've had, really, since less than a month after my surgery. So my surgery was in September. So let's say starting October, maybe November of last year, I started having on the outside of my right breast, the one where all the work was done, this like really sharp, prickly sensation. And I know I've talked about that in a bunch of other videos. And I've had that looked at. I've had it tested. I've had a sonogram done. I've actually had a mammogram done, everything since then. It doesn't really seem to be anything causing this prickly sensation other than the potential of nerves regrowing in there. So the last time I went for a follow-up with my breast surgeon, she suggested I give it at least another 6 months from that point, which was, when did I see her? I think I saw her in July, end of June, early July, maybe. So I was to give it another few months to see how that would grow, how that would develop as time went on. And then I've recently, maybe a couple months ago, started having in my left shoulder this sort of neuropathy in it itches. It just itches like deep inside, like underneath the skin, like it's like a bone, like the bone is itchy. And I've gotten a cream, a brand. I'm hesitant to even mention the brand because I've had a couple of videos blocked these last few weeks for mentioning, I assume mentioning brands. Um, but I got it at CVS and the pharmacist recommended it to me. And it's basically like a lidocaine kind of gel, or like there's a roll on and there's a cream that gets in there and, um, helps with like nerve pain and literally nerve itching. I didn't even realize that was a thing, but that is absolutely a thing. So those the neuropathy experience that I've had. And I've talked about being on gabapentin before, which that was specifically for the hot flashes. In my case, it was supposed to be for the hot flashes, but gabapentin also works with it's a nerve. I'm going to say the wrong terminology here, but the way I understand it is that it dulls nerve sensation. So that was also supposed to help with that neuropathy. Did not help me with anything across the board. So I'm not on that anymore. Um, I did switch to the other medication for the hot flashes, the one that starts with a V. Again, I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to get blocked this time. But that's not really doing anything for the nerves, but it is helping with the hot flashes. I'll talk about that in another video, but today I want to focus on the neuropathy. I'm kind of surprised that I still have this neuropathy in my feet after such a long time, and that I have it in my shoulder. The one in my right breast, that prickling sensation has kind of reduced a little bit. Well, it has reduced a little bit, but it's still there. It's just not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week like it used to be. Nope. My shoulder has taken over that has picked up that gauntlet, because now my shoulder is itchy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where I have to put this lotion and this cream on it all the time. And my feet still are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I'm not in shoes, I feel like there is stuff, like there's sand on the bottom of my feet. Um, so yeah, so I want to talk about that. It's like a continuing side effect of all of this nonsense. I'm curious to know, what is your experience with neuropathy? Are you still experiencing it months after? So my chemo ended, let's call it the beginning of March, right? So I have March, April, May, June, July, August, end of August. So 6 months. I'm still experiencing the neuropathy, specifically in my feet and now in my shoulder. Curious if you have that, and if you have any other strange spots where it just happened to weirdly appear, this neuropathy. Leave a comment. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.